Hi everyone, it's Sandhya, and today I am doing my top 5 books of 2017. So I limited myself to a small number, and I have to be very selective. And my selection process was holding up the book and saying, do I love any other book more than this? And if the answer was no, then it became one of my top 5. And if the answer was yes, then I picked that book and I said, is this one of my top 5? So on and so forth. So if it was in like the same vein of fantasy or like adult, contemporary, if it was in the same genre and I could think of another book that was of equal value or better, then I'd swap it out. It's literally the most arbitrary system ever, but I just wanted a diverse selection of books. Yeah, so the system literally makes no sense, but there you have it. And I'm just gonna stick with it. One of the 5 books that I chose as my top 5 of 2017, gotta make that shorter, is La Città e la Casa by Natalia Ginzburg. This book is set in the 1970s or 1980s, and it follows a group of I think 8 or so people living in Rome, ranging in the ages of 22 to 50 something. And it follows 2 years worth of their lives of just living. There's no plot, so to speak, to it, other than just their lives. It's, the format is romanzo epistolare, which I think translates to fictional written in journal and or letter format. This is a compilation of letters between this group of friends. This is the first book that I've read for a school assignment that I didn't hate and want to burn. I cheated. Instead of reading it in Italian, I read it on ebook in English because I was on a time crunch of 2 weeks, and this would have taken me a whole last year to read in Italian. I cried, which is a first for a school assigned book, and I genuinely loved it. Although there's no linear plot, so to speak, for this, it's just lives of people being documented. They're not real people. It was very evident that the author was getting at a specific theme and this idea of home in the heart. And it's just so, it was such a lovely, lovely book to read. I just really enjoyed it, and that is why it's up here on my list. Next in my top 5 books is A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab. This is the 3rd installment in a Darker State of Magic trilogy, adult, high fantasy, I think is what it's categorized as. And the story is about parallel universes anchored around the city of London. So every layer of parallel universe has the city London. Black London, one of the 4 Londons, is completely devoured by magic. White London is a dangerous place to live because people are consumed by their desire to have magic. Red London is thriving with magic, a beautiful city, prosperous, blah blah. And then Grey London, which is sapped of magic and is our human world. And it follows main character Kel, who can travel between these Londons. That's the first book. This is the 3rd book. I can't say any more because spoilers. And I just genuinely loved it. The conclusion to this trilogy was insane. Mind fucking blowing. Could not handle it. I cried a lot. A lot. What else do I say? Victoria Schwab's writing and world building is slow-paced, but so incredibly captivating. I was reading other books, but all I could think about was this book, and that is not something I can say for a lot of books. Trying to keep these short, but they just keep going longer. Ugh. Next book, and I think one of the first books that I read in 2017, is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Everybody probably has this in their top of 2017, I think. So this is following a young girl named Star Carter as her life gets turned upside down when a close friend of hers gets killed by a cop for literally no reason. It's inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement, and it is so relevant to today. It is so poignant. It integrates this important message about the value that we put in lives because of their skin color but it also balances it out so wonderfully with it being a contemporary, with it just being children living their lives, and that is an incredibly amazing thing to be able to do. It's lighthearted yet puts across a wonderful message. Could not have loved this book more. It came at the right time. Several other books have come out since then and before then that are in the same vein, and I cannot wait to get my hands on them because I think they're gonna stand in this exact same spot. I really love this book. So the next book in my top 5 of 2017 is Wild Beauty by Anna Marie McLemore. This is about a family of women who have the ability to grow flowers and make them prosper in any kind of weather. They're also cursed to lose the person that they fall too deeply in love with. And the story begins when a boy appears in their home area, and he is suspected to be one of their past loved ones, but he cannot remember who he is. So our main character, Estrella, kind of helps him try to put his life story together through clues in his memories and so on and so forth, and it's also figuring out what's going on with the curse that's on this family. That's like a weird way of explaining this book. There's a lot more and a lot less to this, and one thing I can say is literally I think every single character except for the boy is queer. Like, what a beautiful book. Everyone is gay. It's great. There's also a genderqueer / gender fluid character in this book. It's a fucking beautiful book. Okay, I love it. It's so flowery in its writing, literally and figuratively, and it read like I was peeking into someone's dream. That's a first. It was an incredible book to read. I just ate it up. And the next and final book in my top 5 of 2017 is When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandhya Menon. I feel like I need to reiterate that. Sandhya Menon. Not Sandhya Menon, Sandhya Menon. But, I mean, I understand it's hard to pronounce. I'm not gonna get too far into that. It's a dark spiral for me. I'm gonna say that, yes, there were books that were certainly better than this one, but this one really was close to my heart. Kind of a lot of these things that happened in this book have happened to me in real life. No, not the arranged marriage part, but like a lot of the quirky domestic stuff. I live that every day. Getting into the summary, this book is about our two main characters, Dimple and Rishi. Dimple is an ambitious high school graduate who wants to study computer sciences and wants to live an independent life even though her mom wants her to find the ideal Indian husband. And Rishi, who is a hopeless romantic and is ready for his dream wife. He is also an artist, and they accidentally, not so accidentally, run into each other at this hackathon kind of summer camp for computer science, and follows their meeting. Ooh, that was my stomach. It follows their meeting, their conflicts, their perhaps love? Who knows? This is one of my all-time favorite books because it is one of the few books that I've read that are basically me in a book. I am not a computer science person. I'm an art person. So in a lot of ways, I'm very much like what Rishi is. But also, I do not want a husband. And in all of those ways, I'm very much like Dimple. Literally one of my favorite books of this year. Not necessarily the best in like the overall like critical reading sense, but just, have you ever found a book that's literally you? This is the first time I have found one that's literally me. So that's why it's on here. Those were my top 5 favorite reads of 2017. Honorable mentions are Lord of Shadows, Wind Witch, Our Dark Duet, They Both Die at the End, Ramona Blue, Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, Language of Thorn, Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. So many more. It would have literally become my entire year's reads. I'm not going to make a video for worst books of 2017 because there weren't. Actually, I can mention it right now. Worst books of 2017 were the entire selection series by Kira Cass. I read them. really fast because they're like crack fiction reads, but they were also awful. I hated them. I hate the main character. That's it. That's all for my worst books of 2017. Thank you for watching. I now have to go to sleep.